I'm Bill Gelber. I'm the director of Much Ado About Nothing by William Shakespeare. I think that Shakespeare tends to be relevant always because he's always dealing with the human condition, and he always puts humans in situations that happen to everybody. Now, they may have slightly different environments. They may use different types of words, but they have the same feelings, they have the same desires. So I think you can do so many different plays, you know, at any given time. And we hadn't done a Shakespeare in a while. The last one we did was 2014. I think the students need to be exposed to it and have the opportunity to do these kind of plays, you know, on a pretty regular basis. So it's good when we do, you know, as far as I'm concerned, we could do Shakespeare every year, you know. One of the things I noticed about the play pretty early on is that it happens right after some major conflict. And people who stress that usually will put it after some major war. And it occurred to me that one that people would be familiar with, particularly in America, would be the Civil War. It's also a time when people are still using swords. So when people talk about swords, you can still use cavalry swords, etc., right? So it still kind of fits the language as well. When I first decided to do this, and we began to design it as being part of the South right after the Civil War, what we weren't keeping in mind is some of the things that were beginning to happen around us in the United States. And that I wanted to reiterate the idea that we're not trying to take lightly how people feel about those issues. You know, that these people are actors, not monuments. They're not particularly making statements about any issues that came up during that period. They're really just living their lives after a war and how that war may have affected them. So I don't want to make light of things that have happened recently, say in Charlottesville, Virginia, or, you know, in terms of what the Confederacy is or isn't. That wasn't really my intent and still isn't. But one of the things that also I felt like was important about the South as a setting was that a quote that Mark Twain said, which was that he blamed the Civil War on Sir Walter Scott. And what he meant by that was there was such a feeling of honor and chivalry and how you had to do things out of duty to each other and to a bigger cause, that it prolonged a conflict that probably shouldn't have lasted as long as it did and destroyed as many people as it did. And so this is very much a theme in the play, the idea that we're doing things because it's the honorable thing to do or it's our duty to do them. There's a lot of depth to this play. There's a lot of feeling that comes up. There's a lot about do I believe people when they tell me they love me? Can I trust my own feelings? What do I do now that I'm not a soldier anymore? How do I return to civilian life, and what is that going to consist of? And how do I treat other people when I've been trained for a time to be much more militaristic, and now I'm having to domesticate myself? You know, there are a lot of really interesting things that come up that I think we explore quite a bit. Please come see Much Ado About Nothing by Texas Tech School of Theater and Dance and the J.T. and Margaret Talkington College of Visual and Performing Arts. We're performing October 19th through 22nd. The 19th through the 21st is at 7:30 now, and the 22nd performance is at 2 o'clock. It's a matinee. So we'll hope you'll be there.